In the spotlight tonight, Christie is running scared. He is running scared of President Obama and scared of Barbara Buono. That's why on the strikingly early date of May 1st, today, Christie is spending real campaign money on his first television ad. Campaign professionals don't like to spend money on TV advertising before voters are paying attention to political campaigns, which is why they spend most of their money beginning after Labor Day of the election year. I know everyone in the political media takes Christie's re-election completely for granted, but obviously Christie doesn't. He is running in a state where President Obama won 58% in the last election. The president easily crushed the presidential candidate Christie endorsed and was supporting in New Jersey. Both of the United States senators from New Jersey are Democrats. New Jersey hasn't sent a Republican to the United States Senate since 1972. So running scared in New Jersey for Republicans running statewide is the smart way to run. Joining me now is the woman who has Christie running scared, New Jersey State Senator Barbara Buono, Democratic candidate for New Jersey governor. How surprised were you that Christie jumped out on May 1st with a TV buy?
It is a little surprising, but it shows that he recognizes that his numbers are artificially inflated from the aftermath of Sandy. I mean, he doesn't need it for name recognition. He's got 100% name recognition.
All right, well, let's take a look at the ad that started running today.
4 years ago, New Jersey was broken. Runaway spending, the nation's highest taxes, and unemployment on the rise. Then we elected Christie. He made the tough decisions to get New Jersey back on track. Taxes cut, spending cut, government made smaller and smarter. A real property tax cap, working with Democrats and Republicans, believing that as long as you stick to your principles, compromise isn't a dirty word. The result? 4 balanced budgets in a row, with no new taxes for anyone. The best job growth in 12 years, nearly 130,000 new private sector jobs, merit pay to reward New Jersey's best teachers, and the most education funding ever. But the most important thing he did has little to do with numbers, statistics, or even politics. He made us proud to say, we're from New Jersey. Christie, the governor.
Senator Buono, you were shaking your head watching that ad. I have a feeling you may have a response to that ad.
Well, what I find striking is the fact that it appears that he's suggesting that New Jerseyans are proud as a result of the fact that he was elected as governor of the state of New Jersey. Now, I was born and raised in New Jersey, and I've been proud for a long time, but what we're not proud of is this governor's record on unemployment. We have over 400,000 that are still out of work. Property taxes haven't risen in New Jersey on millionaires, but property taxes have risen 20%. I mean, he's living in some alternative universe where, you know, we are at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to economic growth, and yet he's calling it a New Jersey comeback. I beg to differ, and I'm going to change that.
There's the Newtown shooting victims have come to New Jersey. One of the Newtown parents came to Trenton for a press conference yesterday. Let's listen to what Nicole Hockley had to say.
In the time it took him to reload in one of the classrooms, 11 children were able to escape. That was Dylan's classroom. He was not able to escape. So I'm one of those parents who ask myself every day, every minute, if those magazines had held 10 rounds instead of 30, forcing the shooter to reload many more times, would my son be alive today?
I think the answer is yes. Her son probably would be alive today. What is your answer to that? What is Christie's answer to that?
Well, he has had a failure of leadership on this, and it's unfortunate. I met with the parents yesterday in Trenton, and I have to tell you, after coming out of that meeting, I don't know how anyone could disagree that you need to reduce that magazine capacity to 10. You know, it really is a matter of lives. So, you know, 5 more bullets, 5 more lives could have been taken. And what was explained to me was the example that the mom we talked about our kids too. It was a wonderful, powerful, poignant conversation. And she related how in the one classroom where all of the children were killed, and then in another classroom his gun jammed. And so there was a hesitation, and so many children's lives were saved. And that, for me, really underscored how important, how vital it is in any kind of a gun safety package to include that reduction of magazines.
I think the magazine size is the most important element. That's how they stopped the shooter in the Gabby Giffords case when, when his magazine was empty and he had to reload. And Christie does not support any limits on the size of magazines.
No, he doesn't. And unfortunately, it seems as though there's a disagreement in the Senate and the Assembly, and hopefully we're going to have a meeting of the minds and pass something meaningful, because it's time to stand up to the gun lobby. Our children demand it, our families demand it, and I can tell you this, when I'm going to fight with every fiber in my being to get it passed, and if I don't, when I'm governor, that will be one of the first priorities I have.
And in New Jersey, where do you think your key vulnerability targets are in campaigning against Chris Christie? What would be the top 3 ways you have to get voters going your way?
Well, I think jobs in the economy are his top vulnerability.
Right.
We have over 400,000 people still out of work. New Jersey's middle class actually shrunk under this governor. Our property taxes have risen on average of 20% under this governor. So middle class and the working poor are suffering. And in essence, this governor has just, his policies have hurt them. He's turned his back on them. And, you know, I feel it because I lived that. You know, on your show last time, I talked about that. And, you know, the funding of our public schools has really fallen short. His first year in office, he cut over $1 billion in our public schools. So I consider public education really the foundation of democracy. If I didn't grow up, I'm under no illusion, if I grew up and didn't have a quality public school, a foundation to build upon, and a quality higher education that was affordable, I wouldn't be sitting here running for governor of the state of New Jersey. No doubt in my mind.
Senator Barbara Buono, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.